Hi there, you're listening to the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I'm your host and midlife warrior, Heike Yates. And on this show, we're talking about fitness, nutrition, and mindset strategies for women in midlife. Plus, our fierce guests on the show share their stories to help you reclaim your power to spark an authentic life. Stop waiting and start doing. Take action right now. Grab my free, brand spanking new 5-Spark Lifestyle Strategy Guide for the woman in midlife. This is for the woman who is just starting out on her fitness journey or wants to tune up her fitness lifestyle so that you can feel energized, vibrant, healthy, fit, and confident. The guide has simple action steps and worksheets throughout the program so you can start right away and change the way you eat and exercise and feel confident in midlife. So stop standing by the sidelines and start taking action. Grab the new strategy guide. Well, hey there, it's Heike Yates and welcome to another episode of the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Today is part 1 of a 4-part series titled The 4 Pillars of Transformation in Midlife. It can be really daunting and difficult to start something new and stay the course. But by implementing systems and processes, we can increase our motivation, adherence, and the results we're looking for. You've heard about my 5-step SPARK method. And the SPARK method is a blueprint to take action in your fitness, nutrition, and mindset strategies. Each of the programs, like the 5-SPARK lifestyle strategies and the 4-week lean out program, are based on the SPARK method. But this is not what I'm talking about today. To learn more about the 5-step SPARK method and what it is and how you can apply those specific strategies that can change the way you live your fitness lifestyle, go to my podcast number 50, Take Action and Ignite Your Spark, or if you're a reader, you can read my blog called The 5-Step SPARK Method. Let's dive into the 4 pillars to transform your midlife. These 4 pillars are the foundation, and we implement each pillar in the 4-week lean out program so that you can create an even more powerful and impactful outcome for the goals you set. As I mentioned before, this is a 4-part series that includes lessons on balance, mindfulness, strength, and confidence, with strategies to take action when it comes to transformation in your midlife. You don't have to take the steps all at once, but start with 1 or 2 action steps in each segment so that you can feel more energized, healthier, happier, and more vibrant in midlife. So today, pillar 1 is balance and simple ways to find balance in your life. Most of us think about balance of things like standing on one leg, or maybe if you're yogi, balancing on your head. But this is not the balance I'm talking about today. I mean the balance in your life. We oftentimes hear or talk about work-life balance and what that actually means, and whether you feel guilty if you work too much and don't spend more time at home, or you don't get enough work done if you spend too much time at home. But work-life balance to me is a very loose concept. But I think of balance as more an overall umbrella for our life. As women, most of the time, we don't allow ourselves this balance. We help everybody else. We go above and beyond to help others with their business. And we're always multitasking. And I'm definitely one to be guilty of that. And always seem to have to be busy in order to not feel guilty and in order to feel that we can reach for a balance that is so elusive. But in many cases, we're so exhausted by the end of the day, by the end of the week, that there's little time for our balance. Not everybody else's balance, but the balance that you need to create a happy and healthy and vibrant life. So here are my 5 simple steps to regain your balance each and every day. Number 1, take your time inventory. It's an interesting concept, but when was the last time you took care of you? When did you have enough time to do the things that you feel make you happy and fill your cup? Could be taking a bath, writing in your journal, going for a walk, reading a book, any of those things without multitasking, meaning not taking a walk and checking your email, for instance, or just enjoying yourself, being by yourself without interruption from anybody in your family or your work. I find when I lack balance, I need to pull back from all the things that are around me, from my husband, from my 2 businesses, from my friends. I just need time to regroup, as I call it. And I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to read anything. I just want to move around and breathe and enjoy myself without interruption. And this could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or a whole afternoon where I just, what I call futz around, meaning not productive. I don't really do anything. I may just wander around my garden looking at what I need to get done maybe. But I do it uninterrupted. When was the last time you took that inventory and found time for yourself to do the things that bring you back to your balance? Think about that. And whatever it is you choose to do, if you are a journaler, like I said, or you really, really like reading a book, do that. I listen to audiobooks now, which bring me a lot of joy. But something that is just for you and nobody else. What would that be? Started today. Number 2 is definitely one of my favorites. No. Because no is not a dirty word. I want you to say no to the things you don't want to do. Things that don't fill you up. Things that are being put on you because, she always says yes. She never says no. We can always go to her and she will take it on. So we don't have to worry about that. Or you're the go-to person when somebody needs something. They don't even think about it because you never say no. You always say yes, and you seem to get it done. Go and say no. It's not a dirty word. You've heard this before, and I keep saying this because I see so many women saying yes and then be resentful afterwards, after they said yes, and they wish they didn't say yes. And I'm guilty of that too. I'm a people pleaser. I like to help out, but I've learned to say no. So here's my tip. Do not feel guilty about saying no. No is just another way of setting boundaries. And set those boundaries with confidence. I want you to perhaps stop this recording and say, no, 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 thank you. No, I really can't do that. And here's another tip. Do not explain why you say no. That makes you just guilty because you think about something. You say, no, I can't do it right now, which only means to the other person, oh, I come back in an hour. Maybe in an hour she can do it. So practice your no saying skills. And it doesn't mean that you have to feel guilty about saying no, that you are a bad person because you said no, but you set your boundaries when it comes to taking on more things or things you do not want to do. Number 3 is bind your boundaries. Think about the boundaries that have to do in all areas of your life. Work, family, relationships, and even your community. How do you see your current life? Is it chaotic? Do you run around never feeling happy or content? Or is it that when you feel guilty that you should do even more and that you should please more people before yourself? Women, and that ties in with saying no and taking time inventory, is women have less established boundaries than men. Men don't seem to have a problem with this. And they're like, yep, I'm going to work, I'm done, and this is what I do at home. I don't answer the phone, and I'm okay with this. I find that especially in midlife, we question ourselves more than ever of having boundaries. We got older, we have gone through menopause, or some of us are starting menopause, since midlife is anywhere between 40 and who knows when it ends, depending on who you ask. But establish a boundary of what you're willing to do to feel happy, to feel content, and who is invading those boundaries. Who are the people that don't give us the time we need, that keep giving us more things because we don't say no? Even if we love our grandkids, the husband, the job, but we still have the right to have a goal for our future and to take that energy to put it into the future that we have established for ourselves in midlife, whatever your goals are. My goal is right now to become a public speaker, a motivational speaker. I want to impact more women with my stories and my experience and help women in midlife be a lot more stronger, confident, and not afraid of what midlife can bring, but embrace those changes. So I need my time and energy to pursue that goal. I don't know what your goal is, but what is your goal? Could your goal be? Write down some ideas of things that you thought were impossible. Write them down and think about them, simmer over them. Say no so you can work on them. Set your boundaries so you can find time to maybe take a course or a class that brings you closer towards your goal. So number 3 is, I think, super important, is bind your boundaries. What are your future goals and how can you establish them? By setting clear goals. Number 4, excite and envision. So you set time aside. You set work balance. I got this all squared away. I say no. I set my boundaries with my family and friends. And now it's time to dream and envision. Take some time now to envision what you would do if you didn't have any of these other, whatever these other responsibilities are, but you don't have any of these other responsibilities, but you put yourself first and try to make the most of this time. Think about what it would be. What would your life look like as you draw the future board for yourself, a vision board? Are you interested in learning to cook? Want to travel more to different countries? Starting yoga? or creating artwork. Maybe you want to be a painter, or wherever your creative juices are flowing. Or you just say, Heike, all I want is 30 minutes in my day just to myself. Think about this and feel what it feels like, what you could do with those 30 minutes. That is just you. This is just your imagination, your dreams, your bucket list. I mean, we all have a bucket list. Most of us. Maybe you don't call it like a bucket list, but I have a ton of bucket lists. On my bucket list, even though it keeps getting smaller, I keep adding some other new things that I'm thinking, ooh, that could be fun. Let's just do it. Because now we made time. We set our boundaries. We're saying no to things that don't excite us. We're saying yes to the things that light us up and ignite our spark. So, start your vision board. And I know some people cut stuff out of magazines, but I haven't had a magazine in years. But you can draw stuff, even though, okay, my drawings look always really crappy. I'm not a good drawer, but you can draw a boat if you wanted to learn how to sail, for instance, or a yoga pose or a cooking pot. So start your own creative juices, get them flowing, and think and feel what excite and envision could mean to you. Number 5, super important, write it down to win it. When you think about all these maybe sometimes crazy things and you think, oh, I like to live like this. But maybe you're not really sure if you should, you could, and whatever holds you back, the fear, the money, whatever it is. Write out your goals and desires. Writing puts everything clear in front of it. And what do I mean by that? Is, for instance, here's a good example. I wanted to run the marathon in Antarctica. My husband looked at me and he says, we don't have that money, honey. This is crazy. Antarctica, crazy expensive, planning and whatnot. I had my heart set on it. Who can say they ran a marathon in Antarctica? I do. You know what I did? I started saving money. Every month, I put aside a certain amount of money, and I made sure that I cut it from other parts of my budget so we wouldn't strain on our budget and would still be relatively comfortable, but I would make sure that we shopped less, which we don't do much anyways, but that we saved our money more. And I moved all this money into my little travel budget. And I found a travel company who did travels to Antarctica with marathoners. There is such a thing, ladies. And from there, I started paying them off on their schedule. It took me over 3 years to save that money. But I did it. For 3 years, 3.5 years, I put money aside. I put down payments. I had my eye on the price. And then when time rolled around and I said to my husband, I have all the money. We're ready to go. Now all we need to do is buy the airplane tickets to get to Buenos Aires, which is where we met our running crew. And he was like, whoa, but was extra money for the plane? I said, I got all this money saved aside. Maybe that's just my crazy Germanness that is really money pinching, but I made it happen. But I wrote down my goals. I said, this is what I want to do. This is when the tour happens. Here's what I need to do in order to get enough money and have the time out, the time reserved so we can take out 2 weeks for that trip. This is what I really, really wanted to do. And there's other goals that maybe not quite as lofty, but just spending a weekend away from everybody. Plan that, or even something even simpler. Not working late nights or weekends. That was one of my other goals, that I had to set boundaries in my work life, say no to things, set a boundary with my husband, and a boundary with myself. So write it down to win it. It's so worth envision, writing, and then, you know what? It's time because it's worth the wait. If you lack balance in your life, these are 5 things I would encourage you to start right now and to realign in a direction and self-care and balance that is important to you as the woman in midlife. Say, hey, I need me time. Or I like that idea. Or, but today I want to do this by putting your foot down. Remember, just say no. And oh, it's okay. The world is not going to swallow you and hate you for the rest of your life. It is simply something that you want and what you stand for and have set your boundaries for. All these things combined will help you with the balance you crave. And we need sometimes guidelines to help us sort through all that feelings and plans and uncertainty. So to get started with these small steps, I want you to pick 1 or maybe 2 that really speak to you after listening to this podcast. Get a spreadsheet out or type it in your phone or start drawing your vision board. But take one of the 5 simple steps to regain your balance every day and start your pillar of transformation. So that's it for today, my friends. Connect with me over on Instagram on the Pursue Your Spark podcast or Heike Yates. Also on Facebook at Heike Yates Pursue Your Spark. So super simple to find and connect with me. And I hope that this pillar number 1 has been extremely helpful for you and that you're taking action. So reach out on Instagram. Let me know what action you took from pillar number 1, balance. And next week, we're talking about all kind of different balance. We have Jillian Hessel, the master Pilates teacher in the house. I can't wait for you to listen to this interview. So until then, my friends, have an awesome day and a happy, healthy, and super fun day. So I'll see and talk to you next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Ciao.